What's up, Lemonheads? Welcome to another episode of From the Yellow Chair. I'm Crystal. And if you have ever felt like your social media efforts were just really falling flat, you really don't see the value in them. You do, but you don't. So it's one of those things you love to hate. Many of you like to run and hide from the camera. But today we're going to really talk to someone that knows what success looks like with social media marketing, knows how to turn your content into a real marketing machine. And so you're definitely gonna want to settle in, grab some lemonade because we're gonna chat all things social media. Let's sip some lemonade. All right. So joining me today in the lemonade stand is Jen McKee, the founder of Keyheart Marketing and fellow Texan. And she is definitely the brains behind the show up, stand out, and scale format framework, I should say. She's built an award winning agency, Keyheart Marketing. They're fantastic partners for women in HVACR as well. But they are seeing fantastic growth with home service businesses, helping them create social media content that really works. Great for branding, hiring, growth, all the things. So I cannot wait for you guys to hear from her. Jen, how's it going?
Good. Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Crystal. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, and in your traditional sparkly things.
I know. I had a state of Keyheart marketing today and I felt like I should wear sequins. So it we ended up here and I was kind of excited about it.
Yeah, it's like your signature thing everywhere I see you now.
I
You've got on something
know.
sparkly. I love it. I love it.
Thanks.
Well, I wanted to just jump right into this because you and I have had great conversations about this, but I call it kind of the elephant in the room is, a lot of people think, social media, it's fine, but it's not really going to move the needle. It's not, it's something extra that I'm going to add on. And really, I think social media now in 2025 is super foundational. No
Mhm.
longer is it like this thing that I can do when I have time and get around to it. So do you not think it's like one of the most powerful things in your toolbox for marketing?
I mean, I think that with the consistency over time, it's a way to be authentic. It's a way to stand up from your competition. It's a way to build brand awareness, which is going to be really beneficial over just being that top Google search, which is hard to do. And it doesn't actually and people aren't actually working with you because they care about you. So in social media, you can elevate all your other marketing efforts and really be the go-to person that people are working with because they want to. So yeah, I think it's absolutely
Yeah.
essential at this point.
Well, so Lemon Seed, we focus so much on the brand as a whole. And I tell everyone, like, really one of the easiest, most effective ways to tell who you are, to position yourself in the market, to give a little context to people is social media. It just
Mhm.
takes it is expensive in the sense of time. Right.
Yeah.
So financially, you might can get away if you're doing it yourself, but really it's time that it takes. But when you put the time into social media marketing, it does, it just does something magical in your market. Like I know this sounds so corny, but people start really relating to who you are and what you
Yeah.
stand for and all the cool things. So many contractors do cool things
Yeah.
and they don't tell anyone about it.
I know. I know. It's crazy. And honestly, in this like I'm sure that you have people that listen to your podcast that maybe even aren't in this industry. Social media across every single industry, no matter where you are in your career, can be beneficial because personal branding is such a big thing right now too. And personal branding does build your business. Also, of course, social media for your own brand, but all of those together can be impactful in your career, in your life as you want to grow as a person and grow your business.
Yeah, yes, and I think it's definitely something that needs to be on everyone's radar. So, why do you think so many businesses underestimate it? Do you think they're afraid of being behind the camera? They're afraid that somebody's going to ask them to do something? What do you think?
I think underestimating it might come from it not having a direct ROI. And so, just like from a standpoint of like you're seeing a business coach or you're looking at your reporting, and it's not something that you can say, okay, well, this month we had $1 million in sales from our organic social. I think that's one thing that kind of deters people. So they see it as like this add on thing rather than the whole picture of how it benefits you.
Mhm.
And then, of course, like creating the content itself takes getting in the habit of documenting. It takes being comfortable, not just getting in front of the camera or getting pictures or videos of yourself, but it's also intimidating to ask other people if you can take pictures of them or get video of them. So I think there's a lot of things that get in people's way. I think people don't know what to post, so they get like tripped up about it, or it becomes like something that you need to do, but you just keep putting off over and over again, and then nothing ever gets done. But because you're thinking about it so much, it's more of like it's still costing you a lot of energy, like probably more energy than if you were doing it.
Yeah, yeah, and, things are as hard as you make them. So if you dreaded it and you're not organized with it and you're just
Mhm.
throwing content out there, it will appear very daunting. And my team just came in for training, so we had them all in Lufkin, which I love to have my team all together. We had them all here. And one of the things I said is like when you put your hat on, your operations hat, like your contractor owner hat, man, we as contractor owners, they wear a lot of hats.
Mhm.
They're the owner, they're HR, they're dealing with pricing, they're dealing with everything that could be a problem. And so the idea of stopping and go creating content it's daunting to
Yeah.
them. And same thing when Lemon Seed's coming up with all these ideas like how to organize a strategy, like, hey, we should do this on a billboard and this in direct mail. Let's tie this together. Contractors are like, oh, I panicked,
Yeah.
And so what happens is they default to frozen.
Right. Exactly.
And so I think the point for social media is not necessarily to just rile this thing up. Let's go viral.
Yeah. No.
Let's go viral. My boss said I need to go viral. Well, your boss, listen, if you are that boss that's pushing your social media team to go viral, understand viral versus just good content locally is not going to do a lot.
Yeah.
But, there is this idea that expectation is unrealistic. That's like if your kid, the first time they swing a baseball bat, you're like, okay, do you want to make the Olympics or not?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, I think that social media, take it at a pace that you can handle.
Mhm.
So, like, I think you're structured the same way. Like with limited, we have a couple of packages. So, how aggressive do you want to be? And if you're doing it internally, like I encourage you to set some parameters, right? Like I'm going to post once a day, 5 times a week, 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Consistency. Do you agree with that? Do you think consistency is which one's more important in your mind, frequency or consistency?
So it's definitely consistency over time. So even when you were talking about going viral, one time Tim Hook posted this, Tim Brown, whatever you want to call him, he
Yeah.
posted this on his Facebook, and it said, like, and maybe I'm not going to quote it right, but it was something of like, what do you remember more? Like the one video that got a million views, or the million videos, or the, hundreds of thousands of videos that got 100 views? Like people are more likely to remember things over time that they keep seeing over and over and over again. You keep showing up in their newsfeed over and over and over again than they are just like your one video that went viral. You have a really great, first of all, unless it's a video that is going to drive sales. So it has some sort of, um, it's really like, it's got a call to action that's really good. It's inspiring people to want to buy, which honestly, for contractors, that's not usually the case with a viral video. A viral video is more so going to be something entertaining or something controversial. So typically, those aren't going to be like what's going to make somebody call you. But and then you have to have a really great, system set up to capture those leads once they do come in. So it's just not really a great use of time to figure out how to go viral. It's way more important to have consistency. So frequency is important in that, like, if you're just posting once a month, you're not showing up enough. The amount of content that we're all
Yeah.
consuming over time is just like, there's no way that people are going to remember you. And so people get worried about like posting too much. I don't think that you can post too much. For Key Art Marketing as an agency, our goal is to post over 36 times a day across different platforms for different brands that we have. And so for contractors, that may not make as much sense, but for even for our clients, we're posting 1 to 2 to 3 times a day, depending. Like sometimes we post stories, videos, static posts. So there's all these different areas that we're catching people on. We're reusing content and reposting it across platforms to get in front of the most people possible. So there's tools, there's automations, there's things that you can set up to make it easier to reach people. But I would say no less than 3 times a week. Like, getting less than that is like people
Not
aren't gonna
enough.
remember you because
Yeah.
there's just too much content out there.
Well, and so the key point there is there is a fine line, right? So there is a fine line of, hey, I got right doing enough to get noticed
Mhm.
and not, because you don't want to do like you to your point, you don't want to spend time to do just a little bit and it not get noticed. You might as well not do any. Right?
Yeah.
So if you're going to take the time, like be intentional with it. So it kind of leads, and I know you have this framework,
Yeah,
and I
the
know you
3
have
S
like some
framework.
classes and things that open up. Tell me a little bit about that framework.
So, to your point, like, if you're not gonna post good content, sometimes it's not worth posting because it
Yeah.
ends up what happens, and I don't say this to, like, hurt your feelings, but what happens is that if you're posting content that isn't engaging, it's not showing up in the news feed, and you're telling the algorithm that people don't really like to engage with your content, so things won't typically show up in the content. So the framework that you're talking about is the 3S framework. It's a social media framework that is for engagement. So we're always looking at creating content that is engaging meaning that people are doing something with it. So they're liking it, they're clicking on it, they're watching it, they're sharing it, they're commenting on it, something like that. And the 3S framework it naturally has 50% of your content being engaging. So it stands for show up, stand out, and scale. Show up content being your most engaging content. So that's the content that is relatable. That's the celebratory content. That is day in the life, photo dumps, even like fun stuff like every once in a while throwing a meme in there or like CapCut videos, something like that. Standout content is your educational content. So that's about 30% of your content. Love to see that in video format. That helps it get even more engaged and honestly helps so much with authenticity. It helps build trust. Like there's so much good that can come out of educational videos. And then the scaling content is about 20% of your content. So that means only 20% of your content should be sharing an offer, sharing your services, things like that. And it's not because it doesn't matter, but it's because it's not a naturally engaging piece of content. People aren't they don't care about that on their newsfeed. If and to prove my point, I want you to think about the last content that you engaged with, the last content that you shared with your friends and family. Like, was it somebody's HVAC offer? Probably not, unless you're in the HVAC industry and you're like, oh, I like this, let's do this. But otherwise, it was probably something entertaining. It was probably something educational. It was probably something really fun. And so that's what you want your content to be, even as a contractor.
So listen, at the end of the day, I think it's about intentionality. Again, I mentioned like being having my team in town. I mentioned like our whole thing was about understanding the intent. So why are you doing social media? Why are you making videos versus static graphics? Why is the Keyheart team requesting this or requesting that? And so really understanding your intent there and what your goal is with it should keep you inspired to move forward. So listen, there's going to come days where you're like, I just don't want to. I don't want to
Mhm.
walk out there. But again, if you understand the why and you set goals and you set a plan and you do those things, that's really to me where I see that social media will start taking off. And then, at Lemon Seed, a lot of us, social media is a part of a strategy, just like digital marketing, just like, mass media and things like that. So our job at Lemon Seed is to structure everything. So all of your marketing is in a funnel for intent, for a purpose,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm.
And so many times I will see contractors go one direction hard or the other. So they're either very much like oversaturating and overutilizing their existing database that's inside their CRM and they're not doing anything to build their brand like social media or mass media. And so, everything should support each other.
Mhm.
So, I know with social media, like one of the things I'm always telling everybody, if you're running, like we have a super cute company that we rebranded and their name is Knock Knock. So I would assume that part of your social media strategy would be knock knock jokes
Yeah.
of some
We
sort.
worked with someone who had that name, and
Yeah.
they, that was what we had them do, knock knock jokes with their kids, which was really cute.
And so it's all about just reiterating the brand and like what you're stand for. And so if you're a very serious and traditional company, I would expect that your content kind of flows in that same vibe.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
you know? And so I don't know, I just can get like very really intentional about, hey, if you're not going to do social media correctly, just don't do it. But I have a client that just bought another company, and I was like, okay, so I was walking them through like, okay, do we have access to their socials? And she's like, oh, they didn't even have social media. And I'm like, this $5 million company.
Wow, that's
She's like,
crazy.
no, but you know how but when you get in there and you start looking, this company was built, they're, 50, 60 years old at $5 million,
Yeah, so that's slower.
was slow, very, very intentional growth of my grandmother told my aunt, told my neighbor,
Yeah,
stop
yeah,
stuff. So listen, there's more than one way to skin a cat. But I say this all the time. Imagine where they would have been
right, for
if they
sure.
would have invested in things like trusting the purpose of social media marketing and things like that.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
And so tell me a little bit like what should people's expectations, because Keyheart has its own secret sauce, right? What are y'all's expectations? Because Lemon Seed gets this question about branding all the time, like what type of ROI should I expect? So what is y'all's kind of philosophy on how many leads is this going to gain and things like that? How do you answer that question?
It just depends on what kind of social you're doing. So if you're doing organic, it's not really a lead generating, um, like direct ROI type of situation. And a lot of that is because of how the platforms are. Most of the platforms don't want you to encourage people to click off of them unless you're spending money on them. So if you're running ads, it's a totally different conversation. We're tracking cost per lead, we're tracking ROI, we're trying to get and help you get the most out of what you're spending. But when it comes to organic, that's not it can't be the goal because that's not how the platforms are set up. Like if you put out a piece of content and it has a link in it, it's way less likely to get in front of people. So it's not even really worth doing that. So instead, what we're looking at is growth over time for your business. We're looking at increase in branded searches. We're looking at for our sake and so that we can get better, we're looking at engagement percentage and how much we're getting into the newsfeed, how we can get into it more, because we know that the more visibility that we get, the better. And then also a lot of our clients end up seeing these like 3 phases. So like the first phase is that their friends and family are telling them like, "Oh my gosh, we see you guys all over social media now. You're constantly in my newsfeed," which is great because now we're staying top of mind. And then they start seeing that people want to work for them. So multiple of our clients have had um better recruits. They've been able to hire the
Oh,
best person in their town or like people who, multiple shops wanted them, but they chose this one because of their social media presence. And then thirdly, people in the community are going to start to recognize you. Like we had a client who was at the gas station and this woman's like, "Oh my gosh, I always see you on TikTok." And it's funny because he's the owner and he's actually not the one on TikTok. It's just their
mm,
brand, which is
yeah.
even better because that's what we want. It doesn't as much as like the people matter, they also the brand is really what we're trying to get out there. People are important because as people, we interact with other people, we engage with other people. It helps the people who you're using, their warm network share the content. So there's a lot of benefits to using people, but it's really about the brand. So when you have a great brand, it works even better on social media. And we get to have your truck in the background and everybody's wearing the right uniform and your walls are branded and your office is branded and you have hats and signs and all these other things that we can use that look really great on social media. So that's really what we tell them to look for. And then also the expectation in organic social, when you'll really start to like feel the impact and you'll see it in your numbers, typically around the 6 month to a year. So you have to start sooner rather than later because it takes time for that snowball to get bigger and bigger.
So I love the recruitment piece that you mentioned. Well, I love several things that you said. So let me grab onto that last comment that you made. So I have this, I call it all the time. This is not new, but I call everything, it's either a marathon strategy or a sprint strategy.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are sprints, outbound calling, texting, quick emails, things like that that go directly out to specifically get a reaction right then. Those are
Mm-hmm.
few and far between. So social media is actually one of the ways that is a long-term foundational brand building strategy.
Right.
And so you said 6 months to a year. So I mean, a lot of people are like, "What? I need to pay." Yes, that is how real marketers work.
Mm-hmm.
Real marketing is a layered, very very good post, a very good strategy. I'm sorry, of just everything building on itself. I'm
Mhm.
really on this kick lately. Like I just want to get on a soapbox and say, really, bring a strategy is one of those things. A marketing strategy is one of those things where independently each layer doesn't perform.
Mhm.
It doesn't perform as well as it could. It's not optimal performance. It's the layered where like a 2 + 2 = 5 kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so if my social media is helping me build my brand, my paid ads are going to perform better. My mass media
100%.
is going to help everything perform better. And that is because you trust the process. For those of you that
Mhm.
are looking for a quick win, a quick this and a quick that, quick and marketing do not always go very well together.
Yeah. Yeah, and, man, there was something you just said, and it made the thing that makes your social media even better is all of the other marketing that you're doing. So, when we're looking for content that is highly engaging, it's like the photo dump of the community event that you did last week, or the pictures of the booth that you have set up at the home show, or the photo of you and whatever organization that you're giving back to. So, the pictures and videos of you putting yard signs in people's yards, like so much of your other marketing is elevated on social media, even your TV commercial or opportunities that you have to speak at the local news. Like all of these things are great social media content. And so, even when we're talking to people about potentially wanting to work with us, those are the questions that I'm asking. Like, what else are you already doing in marketing? Because that's how I know if we're going to be able to get really great content or if it's going to be a little bit more challenging.
Yeah. I love this idea. So we were talking about this the other day when we were getting ready to onboard this new client. And so listen, like, and I kind of work in the sales side of life. So I had this vision for what Lemon Seed was going to be. When I left my family's company and I was doing, I'm like, I'm literally just going to pick myself up from working for my family's company and start doing it for all these companies. And so just managing everything, community marketing, all these things. And so I met this contractor and he's like, yes, I'm ready. So I'm like, okay, so on your social media, let's talk about that. He's like, yes, I'm going to be posting every day. I'm going to do all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, so realistically, I don't think you're going to post every day. And he goes, I don't know why you think that. I was like, well, you haven't posted in 3 years. So all of a sudden tomorrow, I doubt that you start posting every single day to all these platforms.
Yeah.
So like, again, this comes down to like setting realistic expectations of yourself so
Mhm.
that, because if you don't hit those things, your first thought is, "Oh my gosh, just forget it." When really, like, ramping up and it's understanding that at the end, what the end goal is there. Like, my goal is to, at the end here, really have some strong branding going on. Uh,
Mhm.
but anyway, so another thing that I thought would be good to talk about is you mentioned recruitment. And so what are some cool ways that you've seen your social media clients showcase their culture maybe, or something really cool that really drove interest in who they were?
I mean, I think that number 1, it's documenting the things that you're doing. And so documenting the celebrations with your team, celebrating your team online. And a lot of that has to also be done in person. Like you don't want to just like use it for clout and then just be like the worst owner ever. But I am gonna guess that everyone listening to this is not that person. But and then honestly, like having fun with your social media, I think is what really attracts them. So doing the trends, being a little bit silly, like you can see that this is a place that you would want to be a part of. And then also like doing those trends and having a little bit of fun is a little bit like cutting edge. It's a little bit different. Like you're going to go into this place and they're not going to be like just like not have a humanizing qualities to them. So I think those things really help. So documenting the things that you're doing with your team, making sure that you're using your team, and having a little bit of fun in your video content is what helps attract better recruits.
Absolutely. I love what you said. Like, I love this part about just showcasing what you do. So many contractors, again, you already do cool things.
Hmm.
You already are doing fun things and cool things. And so you might as well start promoting those things.
Yep, absolutely.
So when you do things with culture, so I'll give a couple of examples of some things that I've seen people do. So, feeding your team, right? So a
Hmm.
lot of you will bring lunch, breakfast, all kinds of cool things, popsicle snow cone trucks or whatever. So make a little video in that's showing your team going up to the snow cone trailer or eating ice cream cones or you
Mhm.
flipping burgers for them, showcase things that are just part of everyday life there.
Yeah.
If you do company meetings, set up a video camera and record some of it. If
Mhm.
you can get little testimonials, right? Like those are cool things. But
Oh, I just thought of we have a client that does some really fun ones. He, like, did this video, he's the owner, and went up and, like, was hugging, like, telling everyone good morning, but he's like a lover. He just, like, hugs all of them,
yeah,
and he's, like, POV view, he's, like,
yeah,
holding it, and he's like, "I'm recording you, but I'm just saying good morning. How are you? Love you." Like,
yes.
and he's so good. He also does, like, clean Wednesdays. His mom cooks every Wednesday too. She works in the office, and so we'll do things with her where it's like her quotes, like life quotes or whatever. They have like a smoothie making station. So we've done videos where we're just like, what's in the smoothie, like, and they'll
Yeah.
make a smoothie there. So that's what we mean by documenting, like literally just documenting what you're doing. People find that interesting. I mean, for me, it's like, people do day in the life videos. I love day in the life videos. My day in the life videos are kind of boring. I just like walk to my computer and then like have meetings all day. But your day in the life videos are way more exciting. There's so much more going on. There's other interactions and people. And so it's those little mundane things. And I could find fun things too, like the things I eat for breakfast, the me going to the gym. Like I've done some before. Recording a podcast, like you can find the things that you do. It just takes a little bit of practice, and don't expect to be really great at it like your favorite creator. Like they got good because they started practicing. It's a new muscle, and it takes some getting used to, but you just put things out there and see how they go and then try something else.
Yeah, and this is about not being scared and again about being intentional and like you said, just like everything else, you continually get better and better and better.
Yeah.
And so to kind of wrap this up, Jen, what do you think are like maybe two, three, four things that like even if maybe you have like a couple of posts that people could immediately start doing or some processes that people could start doing, what do you think two or three things like okay, I'm ready to start with social media, should I
Yeah.
start on every platform, should I start posting a bunch of stuff, like do you have some easy tips of how to get started?
Okay. So use scheduling tools. So the way that I usually have people start is how many hours a week are you going to be able to commit to this? So 1 hour, 2 hour, whatever, put it in your calendar. Put it in your calendar. Don't let anybody take that time away. Then you need to decide on your frequency. So do you want to post 3 times a week, 5 times a week? 2 static posts, 1 video a week. Come up with a cadence that you're going to commit to. Don't try to like go 0 to 1 million because you'll get burnout and then you won't
Mhm.
do anything. So it's better, like you said, just to kind of slowly ramp up. And then from there, create a content calendar. So we do the 4 C's. So the first part is man, I'm going to get these first two out of order, but it is your commitment and then it's your calendar. And so when it comes to your calendar, you're going to look at the important dates in the month. So any holidays or any like hashtag holidays for the trades, like Hug a Plumber Day is this month, I believe. And then you're going to look at important days in your business. So birthdays, anniversaries, and you're going to get all of those in there. And then you're going to fill in the blanks with the 3S framework. So show up, stand out, and scale content. And then the third C is to gather the content. So now you have your plan. And now you just need to get the pictures and videos that you're going to fill in the blanks with. It's best to kind of bulk create things. And then from there, you need some sort of accountability. So just making sure that you're committed. That's the fourth C is committed. And but as far as like easy posts, photo dumps, like behind the scenes, it's we're coming up on a new month. So behind the scenes of the camera roll for the last month. Super great one, gets a lot of engagement. recently. So I have a group called the Trades Trailblazers. It's a monthly mentorship. We open it up quarterly, and it's for people who want to do their social media on their own, but just want more accountability, more direction, support, feedback. And so we'll go through their accounts and kind of just like talk about what they could have done differently in their content. A big one that I see is like just using stock photos or using like stock graphics, like happy spring, happy St. Patrick's Day. And a super simple switch is just using pictures of people to tell the same message. So using pictures of people is always going to get more engagement. And I mean like people in your team, not stock photos, not AI generated, but like actual people in your team. It's going to help your engagement and your views and your reach. It improves so much more. So those are some things that I would definitely start with.
Cool. That's great. That's a great tips. I always say like developing a couple of pillars of content, like you're saying behind the scenes, and if I want to do birthdays and anniversaries, a motivational quote, like something. But again, every time I think of a picture that I could post, I'm like, how could I make that into a video? So instead
Yeah,
of posting a
for
5-star
sure.
review, how can I get somebody to read a 5-star review? Right. So,
Exactly.
but
Yeah, that's a good
yeah.
one.
So listen, Jen, if anybody wanted to reach out to you about Key Heart Marketing, how would they do that?
So we are Keyheart Marketing on all the platforms, and that's spelled KEEHART. Of course, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and then our website, keyheartmarketing.com. You can also be friends with me on Facebook, Jen McKee. And yeah, I have
Yeah,
a
we'll put it
podcast
all in
as
the description.
well, Key to Growth
Yes.
Podcast. KEE again, Key to Growth Podcast. Crystal, I don't think I'm not sure when this episode's being released, but Crystal's episode hasn't been released, but it's coming soon. And we talk
Yours
all
is gonna be
about
we're probably gonna be close
at
together
the
there.
same time.
Yes. Yes.
So we talk all about marketing for the trades there.
Yes. Great podcast. Jen brings lots of great speakers on her podcast, lots of great guests, I should say. It's a great job. So
Thank you.
listen, one thing I've learned, the trends might shift, but consistency and clarity never really go out of style. So guys, I think Jen
Absolutely.
and I both are on the same page here. Just keep showing up. People are watching. Maybe you're not getting a lot of engagement, but just keep doing it, keep altering it, keep making it better. You're definitely going to get there. But Jim, thank you so much for your takeaways and
Thank
for
you.
being such a force. I think you're doing great things because I think, you know, even for women in HVACR, you're such a great partner doing so much of that just out of the kindness of your heart to grow that nonprofit, and your team is wonderful. So it's been a joy working with them
I appreciate
on
that.
that.
We love working with you, Crystal. We're always so grateful.
Oh, well, it's a lot of fun. So, guys, if you're tired of guessing what to post, what real strategy, definitely check out Keyheart Marketing to help you get your social media rocking and rolling.
Thank
And thank you for listening to another episode of From the Yellow Chair. If you've enjoyed our episode, I would love for you to leave us a review wherever you're listening. Make sure you follow us on all of our social media channels. And as always, thanks for sipping some lemonade. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.